Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, seekers, and sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen of the chosen few. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Akila Textry. Welcome to the divine energy essence of it all, as I'm reporting to you live from the 5D consciousness, fifth dimension. For those who are journeying in, those who are already there, those who are just waking up and hearing about it, welcome to the 5D experience, right? And those who are not even into it, but just happen to buck and come across this video, it wasn't by accident, welcome to 5D. So with that, I am here to give you the news to infuse, if you choose to use the galactic news that comes from the downloads, the ethers, wherever it may come, about this experience. So with that, let me say, this day is highly energetically charged. So first and foremost, happy new moon in Cancer. New moon in Cancer. Happy new moon in Cancer, where the theme is like, let the waters pour. Let the waters pour, because the waters are the portals through our soul. Let it rain, clear it out. Let it rain, clear it out. That's what I'm hearing as this new moon in Cancer is bringing in so much, the nurturing waters. And in order for the waters to nurture us, we got to let some of the waters pour, including those tears. The tears are the waters that are portals through our soul, because that's what the waters are. They're these portals that help us remember. They come with the charges of the fragmented memories that we have, and that's a topic for another day. But let's stick to our theme here today about the 10 days of new beginnings plus 5, which is a theme that we've been working with this for these past 10 days, and today being a code 4, which is the theme that every code, every day in this 10 days has a numerology code. So for those who don't know, who may be watching this for the first time, let me go ahead and give a brief explanation. If you want a detailed explanation on the 10 days, you can look at one of the previous videos about the 10 days of new beginnings, or any of them that say code 5, code 6, code 7, all the way up through 10 and back to where we are now, because after 10 we went to 2, 3, and 4, which is today, code 4. So to kind of sum this up and catch us back up for the newbies, 10 days plus new beginnings is a cushion. It's a vortex cushion for those of us who are synchronizing with the integration within this 5D experience, and integrating not just with others but with ourselves, a soul integration for our soul, which is where it starts first, so that we can effectively integrate with others, where the separation is bringing us back together. Some of us have had to sever some ties with loved ones, with family, friends, so forth, but it's not for forever. It's just to find your niche, find your space, find where you fit in the 5D experience, and then integrate back with those who maybe not be in 5D. But 5D is about the love frequency, so it's unity with all. So a higher overstanding to understanding of 5D is knowing that we're not leaving one earth to another earth. It's all one earth, but we are the pioneers in constructing and reshaping and reforming the 5D consciousness, this new earth consciousness, by helping to attune others to the 5D consciousness. And it's all at a vibrational level. It's not by force. It's not by making people see what you see. It's just by us being in it. And the best way is to be in it in our own soul's consciousness. So what I'm going to say is the most important integration that we're really working on is self-integration, or soul integration for the self at an intrapersonal level, so that we can then infuse it or expand and extend it into an interpersonal level, you know, between others. So that's what this entire, you know, for those who don't know, what's this 5D? What are you talking about? That just kind of gives that scope, that explanation. So that brings me to, in our synchronizing of integration, there is this 10 days plus new beginnings. Let's put it that way. 10 days plus whatever that number is. So it started in February with just 10 days of this vortex from the 10th through the 19th, where when you add up the dates, when you add up the dates of that day, it equaled the number of that day. So for example, if it was the 10th, the numbers added up to the 10th, and so on. And as the months passed, we saw that the same pattern happened from the 10th through the 19th, but it would always be one more up. So March would be 10 plus 1, and then April would be 10 plus 2, and so on. Here we are at July, where it's 10 plus 5. And the 5 represents the balance between the physical and the spiritual, which has been our theme. This has been our theme that we're working through right now. Why is that? Because the universe said so. Because we're paying attention and we're tuning into the synchronicities. And one of the synchronicities that I love that really brings this home for me is the fact, or the truth, that Mars and Venus were traveling with 5 degrees between them from June 18th to July 18th. And even that says something in itself, because the 18 is 8 and 1 is 9, and 9 is spiritual completion. So from completion to completion, this is this is why I don't even like when they say this is my better half. That's what I was thinking. From a completed soul to another completed soul, from the completion of you one onto another. It's kind of exemplifying that, and what is doing that, or whom is doing that, and that is the masculine feminine. The completion of the masculine and feminine to the next completion of the masculine and feminine, because we both are male and female, created he them both. We both hold the charges of the masculine feminine energies. We both hold the aspect and qualities of the masculine feminine energy, which also is the physical and spiritual, right? The masculine is the physical, the feminine is the spiritual. You know, there's so many ways to look at this, the dualities, and you can look at the video where I break that down a little bit more, speaking about the dualities on the number code of 2. I kind of get more into the dualities of that. But right now we're speaking about the number code of 4. So I really want to stay focused on that type of foundational balance, but just giving an explanation of what this theme is so you know what we're looking at. So there's the 10 days of this integration, where we're looking at the integration between the physical and spiritual, which is allowing us to work within ourselves and seeing the physical of our conscious phase of mind. That too is the masculine, and the subconscious is our feminine. So we're working these aspects out in our mind. And yesterday we spoke about the creation. So we were coming from the creation, because what happens is the duality, 2 becomes 3. Because when there's a harmony, if you can just think about the common ethics of it, man, woman, child, mother, father, son. This is a trinity, right? This is our divinity of trinity within us, right? So there's that threefold. So the duality became the 3. And then out of the 3 goes into where we are now is a 4, and I'm going to explain that. But within us, in our consciousness, the trinity of divinity is always that 3. Conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. The conscious and the subconscious, being the feminine, harmonizes to bring forth the superconscious, which represents the Christ mind. That is the bringing forth that sun, S-O-N, sun, but that really represents the Christ consciousness, the Christ mind. And it is through that threefold that we have a creative activity that is going on, where we're constantly in infinite existence of creation. Right, so with that said, that brings us out of the 3 into the 4. So what happens next? Well, that 3 represents 3D, and the third dimension is creation and experience. And experience, when you look at that word, it's X and P-E-R-I, like perimeter. The root of that has to do with being out, the bounds, you know, the out of bounds or outbound. So it's like experience is like saying out in the outer world. So that is it really highlights the masculine aspect, which is the physical, right, of everything we do out in the world, in the outer world. So that is the experience that we have come here to have, from the ethers, from spirit into the physical, right? So with that said, it is that outward that we're pouring into now from the third to the fourth. I want to keep us on that. Coming from the third of experience, it is now, by the time we get to the number 4 or the fourth dimension, it is where creation experiences time. Time, y'all. This is all about time, because we are vessels of time. Within this existence, we are the vessels of time in this realm that is within a scope of time, space, reality, right? So we're here to expand that, if you will, expand that for ourselves individually, to expanding it collectively, to ultimately the entire realm of this world will be expanded. We will be able to, let's say, expel from the earth to expand into the ethers. We will become part of the cosmos that much more. We will become one of the mansion worlds. Like we're already part of it. It would be more accessible, but that's a more galactic type. Let's look at what we're doing here now with this number 4. So with that said, I'm going to share with you the download, whatever has come to me, you know, just what I've been sharing with you all along. Every day I've been getting a download, because this has been like an impromptu, you know, series. I didn't plan it. I've never made a series before. I'm just saying yes to spirit. You know, this is what happens when you fast and you tap in and you tune in and you become attuned. I'm just listening to spirit right now. So with that said, I'm going to share this news to infuse with you. Are you ready to infuse this news? Let's get it on code 4. So as I explained to you, this is a day that signifies is a foundational balance within this earth through the order of time within the divine. So this is what is happening essentially, remembering that 4 represents a foundational balance, right? 5 represents balance between the physical and spiritual, but 4 represents a foundational balance, and you'll see why as I explain on. So furthermore, the four elements are the energetic currency that flows and moves the order of the 4 seasons as we witness the structure of time within our infinite existence in this realm. And so it is in reverse. So what it means by that, I'm saying it, because that's just was downloaded to me, that as I sat in meditation today, was highlighting to me that the 4 elements, we have the 4 that are the harmony, are the foundation. I kind of see it as the 4 corners of this earth. That's how it was sounding to me, like, you know, the 4 corners of the earth. So the 4 elements are more like a support of 4 corners. If you can see a pyramid, 4 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4 are those 4 elements: earth, fire, wind, water. And then as it was showing me is that there's also 4 seasons. Notice where there's 4s. 4 always represents a balance. If you build a house, you have 4 corners to build that house upon. If you have a car, you got 4 wheels, balance. You know, so it's that foundational balance that gets you where you got to go. The wheels move you, right? Get you where you got to go. So this balance, this foundational balance, is a certain type. It's an energetic currency. We've never really looked at it like that. Well, I didn't. But these elements are some type of energetic currency that flows and moves the seasons of time in the divine. And so it is in reverse, meaning that the seasons do the same thing. The 4 seasons flows. It is also an energetic currency of time that flows and moves the elements, right? So that it's basically showing us that this is what this 4 is. It's showing us more, if you can put it together, time. If anything, it's really showing you the essence, the true essence of time, and how it is that we see time. How does time come into visibility for us? It is through the seasons. It is through the elements, the way the elements move within the seasons, the way the elements sometimes move the seasons, and the seasons move the elements, right? So with that said, as we expand in our consciousness from 3D to 4D creation, from 3D to 4D, creation experiences time in the divine. So exactly in what I'm explaining to you now, the more we expand this from a 3rd dimensional aspect to a 4th dimensional aspect, creation, which is more of 3, right? Creation starts to experience time, 3 to the 4, going into the 4th dimension. And so it is, right? So therefore 4 represents the foundational balance that allows creation to experience this time. And it is through constant practice of the creative activity within our infinite existence, meaning within our souls as we exist, that we expand our consciousness in the soul's ascension to stretch the capacity of our timeline reality into the infinity and beyond of time. Divine timing of the universe, right? That is what it is. Infinity and beyond is really considered divine time. We're not talking about man's construct of time. We're talking about the divine timing of it all. And what moves the divine timing is the 4 elements, the 4 seasons. You know, there's 4 within the signs. There's a movement where even though within the 12, you're seeing a cycle between 4 and 3. Even notice that within 12 months, there are, you know, there are 4 seasons and there are 3 months within 4 seasons. And so you kind of notice that there's this ebb and flow, if you will, between creation and the experience of time, or there's a pouring out from creation into time, from creation into time. Creation is the constant infinite existence that is within time. And so the way that we activate this, the way that we do our creative activity and creative action, that also determines how we experience time. To what degree, on what dimension, on what level can we experience it at a 4th dimensional level? If you're only focused at the 3D level, if you cannot expand your consciousness, then you will not be able to experience time at a 4th dimensional level, at divine timing. You will more likely be bound to the times of man. This is why some people can't see outside of this, because if their perception is within the time construct of 3D and they do not work to expand that, which is by doing their soul work, which is by doing the creative activity and action that I spoke about in the video previous before this. If we're not doing that, then it will be harder to expand their consciousness beyond 3D to experience time at a 4th dimensional level, which 4D exposes timelessness within time, which is exactly what I was going to say next. So the divine time of the universe is timeless within time. Because why? We start to expand ourselves to experiencing the essence of the divine, which is timeless. Time is an illusion. It's in the reality and the truth of it all, not reality, but in the truth, in true time reality, time is an illusion. However, as we are vessels of time, we have to honor the spectrum of time that we're in while we're in this realm. But you can experience timeless within the time by being connected to the divine, if that makes sense, right? It does to me. So that is the timeless. I know it may sound a bit confusing, but that is how we experience time. When you expand your consciousness, you'll understand what it is to be timeless within time. Right? So it is through this foundational balance that we are experiencing a shift in time that requires the masculine of infinity, which is the physical, to respect and honor the feminine of infinity, which is the spiritual, by setting the tone of foundation that allows the currency of emotions, energy and motion, to flow through our pyramid temple as vessels of time, because that's what we are. We're pyramid temples. The pyramids are a replica of our temples, our body temples, right? And we're all vessels of time. So it kind of encapsulates that. But what this is saying is that through this foundational balance, that it's the way that we're experiencing the shift, and this shift in time, and it requires the masculine or the physical to respect and honor, meaning make way. That's what it means, to respect and honor the feminine. Because why? What's happening is the feminine energy is really pouring in heavy right now, really, really heavy, but it's asking for respect is what I'm seeing and what I'm noticing. It's been pouring in heavy since 2020, but a lot of people are still misguided by the pouring in of the feminine energy. And it's really the spiritual essence is what it's saying. And it's asking for us to tune in and listen to the instructions and the intuition that guides with it. But we won't be able to do it if we're still heavy, solidified in the masculine physical in an egoic way with the misappropriations of the masculine. So it really takes us having this balance between the masculine and feminine that raises our vibrations to the divine masculine and feminine, so that the masculine can give way to the flow of the feminine for coming in, to come in. So what's being asked of us right now is to have us, it's the best way I can put it, to have us humble ourselves. There's you go. Humbleize our egos. Humbleize our masculine aspects of ourselves. The will to want to just do things all the time. Action, action, action. The feminine aspect is more of non-action and more of a response. And so we're being asked to allow that masculine to be still and make way so that the feminine can pour in. So that's what that aspect is saying. It's saying set the tone of the foundation, because it's setting the foundation. That's how you set it. And the tone is set by you making that way, by you within your consciousness humbling yourself. And if this is speaking to a direct male between relationships, then it is for, if you're in a relationship, the way to practice what I'm saying right now outside of your soul and between another would be, as the male, to practice just listening to the feminine. Even though you may feel that you're right and what she may be doing may be off to you, you know, just humble yourself. Make sure, you know, is it hurting anybody? Is it, you know, ask yourself the important questions. If it's not hurting anybody, nobody's bleeding, like, just be still and listen and be willing with your wise masculine energy to follow her, to follow the guidance of her and see what she brings forth. Because when you make way, then she'll be free to flow. Those emotions, the energy and motion will flow. A lot of times she may not be able to do so because it's being blocked. And I'm not just saying the she outside of you in a relationship. I'm talking about the she in the mind, right? So goes on to say, without that this fourth dimensional activation is what synchronizes our integration in this balance between the physical and spiritual, in the acceleration of our 5D New Earth consciousness. So you see, this is how we all bring it home, by having this fourth dimensional activation of allowing time to move in that way. And I'm going to give you an example of that right now, just so you see what it is. What it's doing is it's accelerating our 5D experience, you tapping into the fifth dimension by you working and operating that fourth dimensional activation. And so what can be done as an example that I can share with you is to work this principle between the masculine and feminine. What you can do is have the masculine aspect of you, or you as a male in a relationship, can write down, even if you're a female, do this activity. Everyone can do this activity, but write down 4 ways that you can honor and respect the spirit or the feminine aspect. What are 4 ways? What is it that you can do? So for example, if you have a tendency to just constantly go and not know when to, you know, stop and slow down, you know, to give yourself an actual practical activity or something that you can do that is going to give way to the feminine, if that makes sense. So I don't know if I can give an example off the top of my head. I'm thinking you can write something like, I will be still when there is confusion to listen to the instructions from within, you know, something like that, because that way you're respecting this pouring in of the feminine energy that wants to guide us, right? So with that said, this also, to talk about this, oh, there's so much. This will definitely be a bit of a longer video. The Grand Cross, right? We're at a Grand Cross right now, so I want to get into that a little bit. What this Grand Cross is between the cardinals. The cardinal signs of being Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, and Libra. Those are the cardinal signs, and we're at a Grand Cross because why? Pluto is in Capricorn, while the sun and moon is in Cancer. They're opposite of each other. And our north node is going into Aries, while our south node is going into Libra. So there is a grand cross that is happening right here. So if you have any signs in these areas, especially if you have a sun and moon, or your north node and south node are in any of these signs, especially particularly in both of these signs, it will be working with you a lot, especially with Aries and Libra. This will be working with you for the next 18 months while the nodes are in those particular positions. And so the next couple of eclipses will definitely be working with you all on a personal level if you have sun sign, moon sign, or north node, south node in Aries and Libra. So this grand cross is really bringing so much with these energies, with what we're working with. Again, you're seeing the dualities, because in the grand cross there's these dualities, these oppositions. There is something that is coming up that is helping to guide us in this, and it's what we're talking about in this grand cross right now is 4 points from the north, the south, the east, and the west. So even that is a balance right there that's, you know, showing us set the foundation. So even in the stars, in the celestials, in our astro explanation of ourselves, astrology speaking wise, this is what it's opening up for us. So there's a lot. So the grand cross, to give you what came to me about that, the grand cross with the new moon in Cancer opens up the portals to let the waters flow as the divine feminine, which is the spiritual, pour in, and the divine masculine opens a way by leading with humility, as I explained earlier, respecting the grand cross of Pluto in Capricorn in the east, the south node in Libra, the sun and moon in Cancer, which is in the west, and the north node in Aries. This all prepares us for the nodal shift as we leave the nodal points of north node in Taurus and south node in Scorpio. So all of this is very highly charged. This is a highly energetic time and very transformative. So for those of us who have been working on these energies, there's so much that we have to work with. And so before I close, I want to say too that as I'm speaking about time, this is really highlighting how this is a major timeline shift. We haven't had a major timeline shift like this that I've noticed, witnessed, and experienced since last year around November, December, somewhere around that time, around a little bit after the eclipse. Around that time, there was a major shift. And in this shift, not everybody can cross over. You know how they say they can't all make it. Everybody can't go. Not everybody crosses over or crosses these timelines or quantum leaps into these timelines. It really depends on how you're working at your soul level. This is a very soul-driven, soul unfolding experience. So you'll find that there's a vibrational frequencies. We're not going to be matching with certain frequencies anymore. So there'll be loved ones and close ones that it's like you're going to be in the same room, but you're going to notice something's off. We're not here. We're not here. We're not on the same page. But that's okay. You'll come back together. This separating is only teaching us how to integrate. When we learn what we're not vibrating on, we'll learn what we can vibrate on, what we can vibe with, and what we don't vibe with. And we'll have the spiritual responsibility to know when and where. And to do it from a place of compassion. So we're not making others feel less than, and we're not diminishing ourselves and putting ourselves in positions that we don't need to be in either. It's really an overall respect and honor of yourself and others. And this is what the harmony is going to be bringing the next 18 months with Aries and Libra in our nodes. It's where we're coming from the we, where the me becomes the we. And a mature spiritual me can integrate into the we in a healthy social interconnectivity aspect and way. So this is really highlighting a lot for us in time. So speaking of time, what I was saying to you is that some of us may feel right now that time is very dysfunctional with us, or we may be feeling guilty about being dysfunctional with time. So I wanted to share that with you because I've been experiencing that. Do not feel guilty. Do not beat up on yourself. The message I was getting was allow it to flow. you may be having a reset. It depends on how it is working with you. For some people, they may be restricting themselves in time. And for some people, they may be completely releasing time. I am on the spectrum where I'm completely releasing time. And so I am actually, I've become very nocturnal. My entire household, including the children, have been shifting the hours that they're up now. We're pretty much getting up at sunrise, and we're getting up at sunset. We're going to bed at sunrise, and the time is just shifting. And so I share this with you so you can know if this is something you may find, oh man, I'm going to bed later, what's happening? Or I'm getting up earlier, what's happening? Just go with the flow. Don't beat up on yourself. Don't make yourself be, I don't like to tell people what to don't do, but I'm just sharing with you as I shared with myself. Don't be fixated on a specific, I gotta be here at this time, and then feel bad about it. The best way to do it too, to help yourself go with the flow, is don't set any times with anyone. This is a time where you just gotta allow divine timing. Don't set any, because you don't want to set times where you feel like you're letting people down. You know, we gotta be honest and say, hey, I don't know, I'll do my best to make it. You want me there at that time, I will do my best. And don't get fixed on it. And if it's something you can't make, like even a party or anything like that, for a loved one, just let it go. It's okay. Just for this time, it's probably going to be like this for now, until maybe up until the 22nd, or a little bit after that, just for us to kind of calibrate as we're resetting. So the instructions I was getting is keep going. We've been going to bed later and later, to the point where we're going to bed at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So it was showing me keep going, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, until you get back to the nighttime to go into bed at a regular nighttime hour. But it's like you're gonna come full cycle. Rather than trying to pull back and beat up on yourself to be like, no, tonight I'm going to bed at this time. Just let the cycle continue through. Keep following the time. Keep pushing the time. Push the time to the next hour. And then if you can, depends on your schedule. And then when it comes back around, you should be able to feel like a reset, and you'll be right in place, right where you're supposed to be. Everybody's right where they're supposed to be, but you'll be set there. So that's what I have to share with you, because I was really like, what is going on? These energies are tripping. And you know, there's you know, also feeling bad about yourself with some, maybe getting a mental attack. If you're getting any mental attacks, because I faced that too, push through it and be grounded and rooted in love. That's the most I could say with that. Don't allow fear to come up. Whatever it is, the divine is never in the midst of confusion. So hold on to the truths, all the truths that you've been gathering, and stand firm in it. That's honoring our nodes.